Good afternoon. I was moved to make this message just in the midst of work. I am currently at work. I am working remotely and via Zoom, and I had to take a break. I took a break, um, informed my coworkers I need to do something important, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes. So, first, I wanted to show off my shirt. I love this shirt. I ordered it off of I can't remember the website, but it says it says holy enough to pray for you, hood enough to swing on you. Like I said, I am a work in progress. Excuse me, just my seat. So on a serious note, I have been going through transformations, and the videos that I post on YouTube, they're not necessarily for, I'm not trying to get paid for them. They're not for likes or anything. This is a personal journey of mine, a spiritual journey, and I utilize these videos as like a video diary because it's helping me heal through a lot of things in my life, and also allowing me to come to terms, have my come to Jesus moments. And I want to show the transformation that God is making with me to the world. So I'm like a living testimony to show the changes and the things that God will do for you when you submit and when you believe. And so this is why I tell stories about my life, things I've been through, things I'm thinking, my mentality. Because even though I am a Christian, there's still a lot of work to be made on my thoughts. And so I open up and I share all these things. I've been closed up my whole life because I am a victim of abuse. And one thing about my family is that I was always taught what goes on in our household stays in our household. So the fact that my dad was beating on me and uh, I had three brothers, but only one of them got it really, really, really bad. My dad would beat on my mom. He like catered to my third oldest brother, which is my brother who is 2 years older than I am. He's like right above me in age. And the reason why he got catered to, because my dad found something in him that he could market. So my dad is a big fan of baseball. He's played baseball, softball, he's coached baseball. Well, when he was, I think, about 6 or 7 years old, my second oldest brother was playing catch with my other brother in the backyard, and he went and got my dad and was like, "Look," and he showed my dad like he's a unstoppable back catcher. Like he don't let anything pass. It don't matter how wild the ball is thrown, nothing gets past him. And so my dad seen that as, oh, okay, I can market my son now. My son plays baseball like I did, and he groomed my brother so this brother could do no wrong, even though he did a lot of wrong. But because he, in my dad's head, it was like, oh, he's the star baseball player. He catered to him, and he beat me. He beat my other brother. My oldest brother, he didn't touch him because I wasn't his son. And my older brother was predominantly raised by my mother's parents because my mother had him so young. So the children that were his, he beat us, and he beat my mom bad. So, anyways, we weren't allowed to express that. We wasn't allowed to express that we were being hurt mentally and physically and psychologically. Nobody listened, nobody cared, and if we opened our mouth, we got hit in it. So, so I need these videos. And and this wasn't my idea. This is the Lord's idea. Like, these videos were put on my mind maybe about 2 years ago, and I just kept putting it off. I've had this YouTube channel for a while, and I just kept putting it off. I was ashamed. I didn't want to come out and say these things, and I felt like, oh, okay, well, I'm a grown woman. I can handle them. I mean, I've been dealing with them. I'll get through it, and I really, there's, I'll get through it with the Lord's help, and whatever He tells me to do now, I understand I need to do it, and I am healing. So, I want to talk about mental health. Um, my family struggles with mental health really bad. Poor mental health. We all have mental health. Poor mental health. My dad didn't do drugs or alcohol, but he had anger issues. He became enraged real easy, and he beat you, you know. And and then my mom, coping mechanism was drugs, which deteriorated her mental health. So I have a brother. The brother that used to get beat really bad. He has anxiety and panic attacks really bad. I mean, I feel bad for my brother, even though he's done a lot of wrong to me. A lot of wrong. Like unforgivable things. I still have empathy and sympathy in my heart for him. He my brother lost his wife December 31st, 2018. She died of a massive heart attack at 45 years old. Yes, 45. She would have been 48 on the 21st of this month. She was 45 years old. She died 3 weeks before her 46th birthday. And though my brother cheated on my sister-in-law, his wife, their whole relationship has had multiple kids on his wife. He lived the same pattern as my dad. And he said things to where I thought, like, as a husband, you was wrong to say, like, he would confide in me and say these things. Like, he was going to leave his wife. He has 3 children with his wife. They were grown. But because he had children with other women, and these children were minors, and so these other women decided, I'm going to get child support because you're a deadbeat dad. So he had to start paying child support. He used his wife to maintain until his child support was finished, paid off. And he would constantly say, you know, he was going to leave her. And he was like, as soon as he's done paying child support, he's leaving his wife. This is what he said for years. And so his wife passed away December of 2018, and he was finished paying child support in 2019. Like 6 months. And this is a God moment. But 6 months before his child support was up, his youngest child turned 18 June or July of 2019. So as soon as he finished paying child support, which was last year or year before last, it was like 6 months after his wife passed away. So the power of the tongue, the Bible says, like, it's, your tongue is strong enough to bring life and death. Your tongue, your tongue, the power of the tongue. And it doesn't just mean that you can kill someone's spirit, but you can speak things into existence that God will allow to happen just because He knows your heart. So if you say something from the heart, it comes out, God would allow it, good or bad, believe it or not. And so He was speaking from the heart. I know he was speaking from the heart. So she passed away. But when she passed away, he was a mess. And yeah, some of it was from his wife passing away. Like, they've been together since they, I don't know how long they've been together, but they had their first kid at 16. She died 3 weeks before she turned 46. So that's 30 years, because their oldest child now is 31. And so it's 30 years that I know that they had been involved with each other because of the age of their first child. And so it was just really like, wow. So it messed him up that this woman that he's known almost his whole life, she just died. But I feel that a lot of it comes from guilt, because he dogged her the whole time. He created intense situation for this woman's physical health, mental health, and she just kind of just gave up on caring for herself, to where she let her health just deteriorate, and she was overweight. Like, I'm 220 pounds. She was like 350, and she's shorter than me. I'm 5'7". And no excuses though. I'm had a baby. I am trying to work this weight off, and everything is just moving slow, because I breastfeed, and my hormones are the opposite of other women. Like, women who breastfeed tend to lose weight and also do not have a period. I'm the opposite. I gain weight and retain it, and I have a period the whole time that after I give birth. Like, it doesn't stop. So my hormones are different than other women. No excuses though. Anyways, back to the mental health situation. So he was distraught. He cursed God. He blamed God. He all this stuff he was doing towards God. And he was in denial, because he claimed that his wife was such a good woman. All she did was praise and worship God and read the Bible. And no judgment, I promise you, it's no judgment, but that is absolutely not true. The woman was not a godly woman. Just because you walk around with a cross on your neck, or you pick up the Bible, you can pick up the Bible every day and read the Bible. That doesn't make you a godly person. Your actions speak louder than anything. So, there's things that she did on a consistent basis, even to the point to where she almost tried to kill one of his mistresses. There's a lot of stuff that she continued to do that was not godly. And no one held a gun to her head. It was voluntarily. So, just because we may feel she's godly or not godly, it's all about what's in your heart. And if you have God in your heart, you wouldn't do a lot of things, or she wouldn't have done things that she shouldn't have done. Everybody makes mistakes, but you catch my drift, I hope. Anyways, so at the time of his wife's passing, I was not speaking to my brother. And I wasn't speaking to my brother because, like I said before, he's done a lot of corrupted things to me. Like, number one, I was married before. I'm married now, going on 16 years. But I am also a divorcee. My first marriage lasted only 3 years. This same brother was hooking up my ex-husband with women. My brother. This same brother has consistently stolen from me, robbed me, lied on me. He's betrayed me. There was an incident. My current husband, my one and only, this is my last, and I must say I truly love this man, even though he gets on my last nerve. I love him to pieces. You know, we fight it out, but we love each other that next moment. It don't carry over. I'm learning that too, because I also stayed mad at my previous husband from all the stuff he used to do to me. And it's hard to get over something when someone keeps putting their hands on you. You can't be like, oh, okay, I forgive you that next moment. No, because it's the more emotional and physical wounds that need to heal, and they won't heal as long as this keep happening. So anyhow, I was, I think, like 6 months pregnant with my husband and his first daughter and my second daughter. But this was our first child together. We had been married for 3 years before I even got pregnant. Because I said I'm going to do things a whole lot different. Like the first time I had 2 children by this man before we got married. That was a no-no. This time, I'm not playing no games. I learned from my first mistake. Up the second time, I'm going to do this correctly. And I still didn't do it correctly because I didn't hold out for not having sex before being married. The correct way is to remain abstinent until you put the ring on the finger and sign that paper. Then you're married. Then have at it. Anyhow, I was pregnant, about 6 months pregnant with my daughter, my second daughter, and my husband and I went to meet my brother because my brother had to give my husband some money. And he said something so inappropriate that it blew my hair back. And I'm not meaning to offend anyone who is watching this, but I am going to say verbatim what was said. So my brother comes up to the car, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, sis, oh man, I hope you didn't get pregnant with no keep a nigga baby. You know better than that." I was like, what? My thing is, even if it was a keep a nigga baby, I'm your sister. What would make you say some dumb stuff like that in front of the guy? So you're trying to set me up, like you're trying to make me look bad in front of this guy, this dude, who happened to be my husband though. Now this is the bigger picture. How can I have a keep a nigga baby when I'm already married to the person and been married to him for 3 years before this baby was even thought of? And here's the kicker. It was a negotiation process because I didn't want any more kids, but my husband did. So I had to submit because my husband wanted more children. It wasn't something that I was doing to try to keep anybody. And this is something my husband wanted because I did. I don't want any more kids. I'm done. I told him that before we even got married. I don't want any more kids. I'm good. I got 2 kids. I'm raising them. I'm a single parent. I'm just trying to figure out life. So for my brother to say that he was trying to tarnish me, and he's done that with any other relationship. So my brother has been no good for me. He's never been an ally to me. With all of this happening, God told me, you have to be there for your brother. Come again? You have to be there for your brother. And to keep in mind, when this happened, I was 4 months pregnant with my baby girl, my last baby, because I had her in June of 2019. And so the Lord said, you have to be there for your brother. You got to push all your issues aside, and I am telling you, this is what you have to do. And I was going through so much already, psychologically, physically, spiritually, going through stuff. But I was directed by the Lord to do this. I had to comply. It was hard and I had to pray, but I would, I started off talking to my brother on the phone, praying with him, feeding him scriptures, like texting it to him, repeating scriptures, praying, to eventually I started going over to his house, reading the Bible, praying with him, telling him biblical stories. Also, I used my favorite gospel singer in the whole wide world, even though there's so many, and I love like Kurt Franklin and Tamla Mann and the Winans. I love all of them, but Marvin Sapp is, his music got me through a lot of pain. His life story got me through a lot of pain. And even though his wife is deceased and I've never heard her preach, just the spirit, the stories that the Holy Spirit fed me of her got me through a lot. And I told my brother the story of Marvin Sapp because my brother had it in his mind. Oh, my wife is a devout Christian and she loved the Lord. How can he do this? I said, Marvin Sapp is a pastor. His wife is a pastor. Showed him videos of his wife ministering, and that woman was on fire. I said, that's a true woman of God. And yet, I'm sorry, my phone was disconnected because it rained. Anyhow, she's a true woman of God, and that she died of colon cancer at 42 years old. Young. That woman was on fire for God, on fire for Jehovah. True follower of Christ, her and her husband. And she still died. So I explained to my brother, just because someone may love God or you feel is a godly person, just because you're not ready to let that person die, because you sure was ready to let her go after you're done paying child support. But just because you're not ready for her to die doesn't mean she's not going to die. You don't determine when someone's hourglass runs empty. You don't have that determination. God does. And a person's works doesn't determine how long they live. Your works only determine where you go after you die. And so he kind of understood that, Holy Spirit, again, gave me all the knowledge, examples that I needed to use to get through to him. Because if I used my own mind and my own heart, I would have been like, this is what you get. You dogged her out. You talked about her. You said you was going to leave her. Like, I would have been wrong. But that was my mindset. In my mind, you got what you asked for. Leave me alone. God was like, we're not playing those games. You gonna do right. This is your brother. This is what you gonna do. So I did. And so, I'm sorry. My daughter is texting me and it's popping up on my screen. I apologize. My 23-year-old child called. I just got some crazy news. Pretty, but crazy. I need to check into it. Um, anyhow, um, where was I at? I'm sorry, forgive me. Um, so the Lord gave me great instructions on how to handle that situation properly. And so I would go over there, I would cook him dinner, and along with my mom and other people. There was cousins, people really stepped in and helped my brother. And it took about 2 months, and then he finally went outside. And then he started to drive and go places and leave, and he started to come out. And the reward that I got was a thank you. My brother called me one day and was like, sis, I just want to thank you for getting me through and helping me like you helped me a lot. Like everything that he told me, that was my reward. I wasn't expecting anything else. I wasn't even expecting to ever hear from him after he done kind of just, started to accept things and move and stuff. I was like, okay, Lord, I did what you want me to do. I'm going back to my misery. But I received a thank you. So, anyhow, he is back to normal. I mean, of course, he sometimes talks about his wife and he thinks about her, and I know he does because he lost somebody that has been close with him for 30 years, regardless of how he may have treated her. But he has moved on. Um, he's moved on. And so, anyhow, I went through periods of being depressed. Like now that I reflect, I feel like I was depressed a lot because of my upbringing. I was unhappy a lot about things that was going on in my life that I felt should have been better. And when I was first married, I went through this bout of depression that was like onset. I don't know what happened, but it just boom one day. I had an anxiety attack. I was laying in the bed trying to go to sleep, and all of a sudden, like I could feel my heart going woo 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 like through my face, and I panicked. And yes, I was under a lot of stress. I was unhappy. I mean, the whole shebang. But this was just the onset. Bam. I went to the hospital. They gave me an EKG because my heart is just racing. And I remember the doctor asking me, what are you afraid of? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't know what happened. They put me on some Xanax and they put me on Zoloft. This was 2003, 2002 or 2003. And I was depressed. Like I would lay on the couch and didn't want to move. Like the TV would be on and I'm not even watching the TV. I'm just looking through the TV. I was just like, I don't know what it was. I felt hollow and empty. And it was this sickness. I couldn't identify it then, but I know now, like the gift of discernment that the Lord has given me, it was this spiritual sickness. I couldn't explain the feeling then, but how I got out of that situation, because all the drugs they were giving me wasn't working at all. All it did was numb me to where I wasn't panicking anymore. But that sensation and that feeling and all that's the way I was thinking, it was all still there. I just didn't have panic attacks. And I was going through a personal suffrage. And my ex-husband had no sympathy for me at all. And I was laying on the couch and he came in and he had said something. He had got mad because I was laying on the couch and I was internally sad. It was obvious. And he just got real disrespectful. And the things that he said angered me so badly to where I snapped out of it. Whatever it was, I snapped out of it. So I got up, I had got moving. At that point, I had made a decision that I'm going to better myself and I'm going to better my life because I'm leaving this man. That was the decision that I made. And so we were divorced like a year later from that incident. But I made all the necessary changes to start making myself feel good. And ironically, when all of that started happening is when he started to act better as well. And I indicated that in a previous video that I had made. But he acted pretty decent to where I started to rethink my motives. Like, maybe he has grown up and the hardships that we were facing spiritually, physically, mentally has now changed. And maybe we can make it and raise these kids. And as soon as I gave into that thought, within 2 to 3 weeks, we had a violent fight where this man picked up a oak chair because my dining room set was oak. He picked it up and he hit me with it and broke the chair over my head, and it busted my head open and like bruised my back. I had knots. Yeah. So this is the type of domestic violence I went through. So anyhow, fast forward, just I have been dealing with instability of mental health because I've gone through a lot. But the feeling, I now know that feeling. And yes, you know, it's called like a chemical imbalance and being bipolar and all that. That's just scratching the surface. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's not what the scientists say it is. It is a spiritual battle. It is literally a demon that Satan is trying to use to infiltrate your spirit, your body. It is all demonic. The feeling came back, and I've been dealing with this nasty feeling since 2017. And no matter what I do, it's not going away. And I've prayed and the doctors want to put me on medication. And I'm like, nope, I've been through that. I'm not going to be a zombie. Not happening. I already been through that. Then I had to sit down, like I had a come to Jesus moment. And had to sit down. And I'm crying and I'm talking to the Lord. And I'm asking, Lord, I'm on my knees. I'm praying. What is it? Why haven't you gotten this off of me? You say you will not put more on me than what I can handle. I cannot handle this. What is it? What am I not doing? What am I not seeing? What is it? I done watched numerous of videos on YouTube where people who have anxiety and depression actually were delivered by the Lord. And I'm like, okay, you did it for this person, you did it for this person, you did it for this person. What about me? And you know what God showed me? And it was something that I did not like, but it was true, and I accepted it because I knew it was true. Your heart and your head is not in the right place. Yes, you are praying to me. You're reading the Bible. You're going to church. You're doing all this stuff. You're trying to make other people feel good. But it's not embedded in your spirit like it should be. And you're playing this game. And he told me, I'm not playing with you. And if you're going to do me like this, I'm going to let you be until you figure it out. Because I've been telling you, I've been showing you, I'm not going to sit here and play this game, and I'm not going to deliver you until you get it right. Because once you get it right, we would never have to revisit this ever again. I'm not going to help you, and I know you're going to be back at this. You need to come to terms with a lot of dirt you've done. You need to understand who you are, why you did what you did, and why you shouldn't have done it, though. Even though you did it, you shouldn't have done it. Because all the dirt you do, meaning all it meant is you have no faith in me. Regardless if you felt your back is against the wall. You have no faith in me. So, I had to suck it up. Yes, I have been a victim of a lot of dirty, dingy, stinky stuff. But it was time for me to stop playing victim. Stop feeling like I am the victim. Even though I have been victimized. And God will deal with those situations accordingly. But I had to deal with me. He had to deal with me. When I came to that moment and I rebuked the devil, I understood what the devil was doing, how it all played. I knew, like, my eyes was just open, like, and I was just like, okay, I get it. I see, I get it. And that feeling instantly went away. It's gone. The clarity is unimaginable. It is immaculate. But I had to do the work. And I'm buying like all these books. I'm buying like all these books, different. I have books on books, spiritual books on books on books on books. They're needed. They're needed for me. They're needed for me. And I don't have a problem sharing them. I just don't have all of them on me right now. And I'm actually supposed to be at work on the computer. But I had to stop because it's just, I had an epiphany. Like the Lord gave me a prophetic moment. And I was like, I need to share this. I need to get this on video. And I need to put it out here and let people who are struggling with mental health issues. It's a spiritual issue. It is a spiritual issue. And the way for you to rid yourself of these mental health issues is to stop internalizing that victim mentality. Stop. No matter what has happened to you in your life, stop. That is the devil's weapon. It is killing you. Please stop. Pray without ceasing. Because eventually, God is going to show you, like he's showing you now. But just like me, a lot of us, we don't see it. We're still clouded. From that first prayer, he is showing you something. He showed me something. I just didn't catch it. Thinking back, I know now, but I didn't catch it. And God would talk louder and louder and louder. But if he has to yell, it's not pretty. But you will get the message. And I guarantee that's what you want. He cares. He loves us. He hasn't, and he will not leave us. He will not leave you. I promise you that. He has never left me. Out of all the doggish, dirty things I've done, he has never left me. He's not going to. So please believe. Please believe. that's all I wanted to share. I just, again, it's a video diary. I just talk at it and with the information that needs to be said. I'm not a professional. I'm not trying to be one. And I don't make these videos again. Again, I don't make them for likes. I'm not trying to get paid off of them. Because I do have a day job. I pay my bills. But I do genuinely want to help people by any means necessary. I do. That is my profession. This is what I have my degrees. I have multiple college degrees in. I am a people person. All my degrees are in human contact, human interaction, psychology, sociology, social science, behavioral studies, all of that. And so, yeah. And I agreed to allow the Lord to use me by any means necessary. And I am living and dying with that. I'm going to return back to work. You guys have a wonderful, blessed day. God bless.